Today we're going to be taking a look at the transfer group. So we'll go through several different things to help you get your site to a place where you feel like you can update the things that you'll need to. So you're going to go to your URL /wp-admin, and that's where you would log in. And you'll put in your username or email address and then the password that we give you and log in, and then you're now in the back end of the website. So the main things that we need to look at are over here on this left-hand column in the black. The stuff on the right over here isn't what we'll worry about. I'm just going to kind of go down through these items and show you what is important here. So the first thing is updates. There are plugins that we use for your site, and looks like right now they're all up to date, and that's because we go in regularly and we update all of our website plugins on a regular basis and do website checks and make sure everything is looking okay. So you don't ever have to worry about that if you don't want to, but if you do, there's always, or there will be when there are updates available, you can just click on them and then say update now. So if there's ever a little number here, you can click on those. Moving on to posts, looks like you have the functionality for blog posts, but you're not currently posting any blogs. So I'm not going to talk about that right now since you're not using that. So let's move on to Accordion Pro. You have one accordion and it's used for your FAQ page, which is right here. So we'll look at it. And you can see that it's called an accordion because it opens and shuts like that with those questions and answers. So when you get in here, you can see that your questions are here in the top and then the answer is down here. So you can change the little icon here if you want. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Which it looks like this one isn't right. So we need to change that. And if you ever wanted to add a new accordion, then you just click add new and it's going to give you a new one, and then you can put your question in there and your answer in here. And if you click on this editor right here, this is where you can edit what it looks like. So you can add different spacing, or you could change, bold something, or use bullets if you need to, and then click OK. The rest of the stuff is formatting that you're probably not going to need to know how to change, or you're not going to want to change. And then you'd always click update, which will save it. And this is added through the page, and I'll show you how to do that when we get there. But that's the main things that you would need to know how to do there. Like I said, add a new accordion, and then if you want to delete it, just delete it. Let's move on to media. This is your media library. This is just where all the photos, or if you have PDFs or anything like that, are located. So you can see them here, you can edit them here, you can add new ones here, whatever you want to do, but you're probably not going to access the media library a whole lot. But like I said, you can add new drag and drop files here, or click select files. Let's move on to forms. You have a contact us form and a submit a testimonial form. So these are pretty simple. You've just got name, email, phone number. So the way that you add different fields would be through over here, and you can see that there's different fields. And so if I wanted to add a different button, I just click on that, and then I click on this, and then the field label can be changed to whatever you want that to say. And then you can just say first name if you don't want to have the last name, those different types of things, and then you can delete it if you don't want it. And then let me go back to forms. We're going to leave because we don't need to save those changes. Let's look at what this one looks like and see if there's anything. So on this one you have some radio buttons is what these are called. So let's say you want to add another question. All you'd have to do is you could duplicate this. That's what that little button means. I thought if I hovered it would show you, but that's what that means. And so then you've still got all those same answers, and I don't have to go through and add them again. And then I can just change the field label and change the question. And then you type in whatever you want right there. And yeah, if you don't want it, then you just click OK. And if you wanted to change the answers, you can subtract and get rid of some, or you can add more answers like that. And you can change them just by typing them there. You can make different fields required. Like I said, you can add more fields: name, date, email, or a single line of text, and then you just type whatever you want. And so then if you would go into forms, then I can see entries here. So then you've got your entries here. You can view them here, or I can set it up so that those notifications go to a different email. So what I would do is I would duplicate this admin notification, then go into here and type in whatever Gmail or whatever company email you want right there. Click update notification, and then now it will send every form submission for that form that we changed the setting on to that email. So you don't actually have to log into the back end to see them. But like I said, the entries are there. You can preview the form after you've saved it. It obviously does not have the formatting of your website, but it'll give you sort of an idea of what that would look like. And you can always create a new form, and it would work the same exact way, adding those same things. So those are the main items there. Don't think you need to know a whole lot else. Let's move on to pages. So this, where your FAQ page was, you've got some text, and then you've got the short code for Accordion Pro. So how that worked was you came in here and you only have one, and then you just hit insert and it's the same code. And it works the same way for forms. If I want to add a form, select whatever form I want to add on that page. I don't want to display the title or the form description, and then insert the form. And then it will show up. You've got that short code there, and it'll show up. You always want to hit update. You can remove or change the featured image at the top of your pages here by clicking on it, and you can choose any other photo that you like and then click set featured image, and then you would hit update on the page. Let's see what other pages you have and if there's anything we need to talk about there. So these are just formatted however you want. You can change the size of the type through these items. Heading 2 and heading 1, they'll be formatted a little differently on the page, as you can see, obviously. You can bold, italicize, bullet anything, align it however you want. You can hyperlink a word or a phrase to whatever website or to an internal page on your site, any of these. And then you'd always hit update, like I said. And I think those are the main things. Yeah, for submitting a testimonial, you just have that Gravity form code. And this is going to be short code as well. Yeah. So, and like I said, this is hyperlinked to that page within your site. So let's move on down the line. For comments, those are for a blog, which like we said, or you're set up to have a blog, but you don't currently. That's fine. Testimonials. So here are all of the testimonials that you have. So let's just click on one and we'll look at it real quick and see. So I've got the name of the person here, and then I've got what they said here. And again, it's just like those pages or the accordion, it's formatted the same way. And scroll down, and what you want to do is make sure that the author information, the person who gave you that testimonial, their name goes here, because that's what's important. This is just so you know the title. This is so that it shows up. And then you want to attach it to the rotator testimonials. You want to make sure that's clicked so that it shows up on your testimonials page. Or I'm guessing... Yeah, so it's listed on that testimonial. It's formatted as a list on that page, and then I believe on the home page it's also there as a... Yes, you've got kind of like a slider thing, so it slides in and out with different ones. So you want to make sure if you add any new ones that you select add to testimonial or attach to rotator testimonial so that it shows up. So if you wanted to add a new one, you just click add new, and you'll have the same format. Put their name, testimonial, make sure you select this checkbox, and then put their name down there again, and you'll click update. And if you ever want to delete one, you can always delete one here by hitting trash, and then it will show up in a trash folder. And then you have a rotator set up. We have this set up so that you can, all of these are attached. See, all these testimonials are associated with this one, and we've got it all set up for you. And then it shows up as a list on your page and as a slider on the home page. So you probably don't need to worry about anything here. If you want to learn how to create a new rotator, it's pretty much the same thing. You would just add rotator, give it a new name, and then use that short code within whatever page you were creating. I don't imagine that that's something you're planning on doing, though, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. So let's talk about homepage areas. So these are, as you can assume, the areas of your homepage. So on the first one, it's a slider, which is this right here, and I will show you Revolution slider in a minute, but you'll notice it's just shortcode in here, right there. And beneath that is mission, maybe? The transfer group. Maybe it's this? It is, I was right. So how this works is you've got on this page a white background, so I'll scroll all the way down. You don't have a background color. You just always want to make sure padding is checked yes, so that there's padding around the words. And on this one, we've got extra narrow and extra short selected. So if you create any more homepage areas, you'll want to make sure you mimic how this one looks. And you'll see this is set as heading 1, and we've got everything centered. This is set as paragraph, and then this is hyperlinked to your About Us page, and then it's also formatted as a button, and that's how it shows up as a button. And then for a YouTube video like this, if you go to YouTube and let's say you upload a new video that you want to put here, you would need to go to YouTube and find the embed code. So it's kind of like where you would find the information to share the YouTube video. It's just embed code, and then you go to the text side of this editor, and it goes right here. It's this iframe, this part right here. And then you change the width and the height on the video in pixels to however tall or wide you want it to be, and then that's how it shows up like that. And always click update, like I said. And then moving on, Let's look at the other homepage areas. The testimonials is going to be just a short code for that rotator. Deed and title transfers and educational consultants are going to look the same because they are pretty much just the same thing here. So what that looks like is you've got your words, your wording over here, and same thing, heading 1, paragraph, and then this is formatted as a button and hyperlinked to the page you want it to be on. So make sure everything's centered, looks good. Then background image. That's where you add a file. You either upload a new picture or you pick one of these that's in here. And we do have a background color over the top, kind of like a light gray. And then it's just kind of over the top to give it that hazy looking. And it looks like left, right product pods is checked, and that's how you get the picture on the right and the words on the left. And so that's going to be the same for educational consultants as it is for deed and title transfers. So you've got a good look on your page right now. So if you want to add another homepage area, one where you have the picture in the background, you just wouldn't click this, and then the homepage area would be a picture in the background. And I believe that's everything. So if you wanted to add a new homepage area for the sake of showing you, this is how I would do it. Center it. You want this to be heading 1. You want this to hyperlink to some particular page. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's just do that. And then I want that to be formatted as a button. I want to do a background image. I want to do a color over the top of it. So I just drag this to whatever color I want. Let this changes, you can read, make it totally opaque or transparent. And like I said, you'd want to mimic whatever the other one was, which I don't exactly remember right now. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make all of this white text. I'm going to publish it, and then I need to go to reorder to put it where I want. So then I'm going to refresh this page, and there you go. So, and then if I decided I wanted it to be the side by side, then I would just uncheck these and do left, right. And then there it is. Or if I want it to be all the way across and I don't want this picture, I just want the background to be, let's say I just want it to be white, then I want to make this text not white anymore. And obviously that doesn't look good because those run together, but just for the sake of showing you how to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and you'll notice it'll show up right here where I can then delete it permanently or restore it if I decide that I want it back. So let's move on to staff members. Looks like you're not currently using this pod for staff members, so I'm not going to talk about that. Genesis is the theme of your website, not important. Not important for you. It is important, but I'm not going to go over anything there. Appearance, there's 2 items here that we need to talk about, which is widgets and menus. So we'll look at widgets first. So in the top, we have your logo, which is linked to the homepage, and we have a custom menu, and we'll talk about menus here in just a sec. And this form shows up in widgets also. This is just so that homepage areas shows up. I'm just looking through these to see what's in here. So in footer 1, you have your contact us form. That's where it's located. And then in footer 2, you have your Google map, as well as your location and your hours. So if you ever need to change these hours, that's where this is located. And again, this works just like everything else, where you can bold, italicize, format it however you want. So if you need to change your location or your hours, which shows up right here, that's how you would do that. And Google Map, you already have this, but I will show you when we get down here how to change things on there if you ever do need to do that. And then you'd always just hit save. Probably not going to need to change this form. If you did, how that works is you come to here and then let's see. So yeah, and then there's your phone number, fax, and email. Again, if you need to change any of that, that's where that would be. Yeah, these items here, if that ever has to change. So if I want to add another area of space underneath this one or this one, then I would say I want to add visual editor and I want to add it to footer 4, add widget. So it's going to show up over here. I can drag it somewhere else once I decide where I actually want it. I can give it a title, type in whatever I want, and hit save. It's probably not going to look right though, because we have done additional formatting on your site to make these things look good. So I'm going to delete it. So you're probably not ever going to need to add anything like an image or a menu or anything like that, but this is just so that you know where those items are in case your hours change or something like that. If you do need to end up adding something to the bottom, you can try, and if it ends up not looking how you want, let us know and we'll try to work with you and help make that happen. So let's take a look at menus. You have your homepage menu and it just links to different pages. So if you ever created a new page, it's going to show up here and you would click on it and add it to the menu. And then I can make it a sub menu item. I can put it wherever I want. I can drag it, or I can change the title of it if I want it to say something else, or if I want to remove it. And then you would hit save menu. So that's the main things that you need to know there as well. If you add a main menu item, it's just not going to look the same because you're going to have more words up here. So if you create a new page and you need to add something up here, you'll just want to take note of how it looks. It would be better just to add only sub menu items so that it doesn't get too cluttered up there. So let's move on to plugins. That's what I talked about earlier. Probably not going to need to add any plugins. Users. This is where you can come in and change your email or password rather, I suppose, here if you would like. And that's probably the only thing you need to know there. I'm not going to talk about any of these items. They're not super important to anything that your site involves. Slider revolution will be the next thing, and that's what creates this slide here at the top. And right now, you kind of have a look going on each of these slides, so we're not going to want to mess with it too much. But let's say if you just want to change out the photo in the background, it's pretty simple. So we've got these different layers here. The background is here, and then you can choose whatever you want. Click it and click insert, and it will change the background image. You can change the position of the photo in the background by messing around with these numbers on the X and Y axis here. And you can change the wording by just clicking on any of these items. We've already got the right font for you. So if you just want to change what this says, you change it through here and you type and then click the green check and then always click save. And then you want to make sure that on each screen size it looks right. So like I said, you're probably not going to be changing these a whole lot because they look the same. You're not promoting any new thing. But if you ever wanted to add just a similar slide, but you help with something different, the easiest way for you to do that is going to be to duplicate the slide here. And while you're working on it, just make it invisible with that by clicking on that red mark. And then you can change, like I said, change the picture in the background through the media library, and then change the words to whatever you want to say that we help with. And yeah, you can see the different layers here, and then you can just change the words by double clicking on that, and then it'll show up. And always hit save. And so we don't need this to be duplicated, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. But that's where those things are. If you want to get more in depth, we can do another training video if you want to have more different looking slides. But if you just use that duplicate function and just change the wording, that'll get you most of where you want to go. Moving on to WP Google Map. Let's look at your locations. So right now you have this location. Let's say you wanted to add a new location. You end up having an additional location. I can do that through add location. Type in the title. If you start typing in an address, it will bring it up and you can click it and it will fill in the rest for you. So if you type it in right, it'll fill in the rest of these items for you, and then just hit save location. But if you just need to edit the location you already have under manage locations, you can click edit and change the name, the address, whatever. And then manage maps, you just have one map here, and we've got it all formatted for you so that it looks okay. And if you create a new location, it's going to show up here and you can check it. But we've got the height set up, the zoom level set up, all the things to make it look right, and then it's just added through shortcode on those widget pages. But that's just in case, and if you ever need to add anything else, that's where it's located. I doubt that you would need to do that, but that's just so that you are aware. And those are the main things. So if you run into any problems that I wasn't able to cover in this video, feel free to call, email, and we will do our best to help you.